Good morning. Welcome to this worship service at the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Shelter Rock. Today we are here on the traditional land of the Matinacock people. I'm Reverend Jaye Brooks, my pronouns are she and her, and I minister to this congregation along with Reverend David Carl Olson and Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore, our lead minister. Our worship associate today is Rachel Zampino. In this congregation, we create loving religious community, encourage spiritual growth, and build a more just and joyful world. We gather each Sunday on site and online to restore the balance of our spirits, to celebrate the joys of life and find the strengths to meet life's sorrows. And in the earliest meaning of the word, worship, to consider ideas that are worthy of our time and attention. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition that embraces the wisdom of all faiths and that values diversity. We use science, reason, and the gifts of the Spirit to explore life's mystery and meaning. In this tradition, we know that people need not think alike to love alike. If you're new to this congregation, visit our website or the welcome desk in the lobby if you're here on site to learn more about this loving religious community. After the service, you can join us for coffee hour on Zoom or on site. And if you are on site, here are two exciting opportunities for you right after the service. First, in the lobby, in honor of the Lunar New Year, the children in our religious education program will parade through as a dragon, not to be missed. And in the social hall, the youth in our senior seminar are making lunch, dumplings and fried rice in honor of the Lunar New Year. The proceeds from lunch tickets go to support the Midnight Rum program that helps the homeless on New York City's streets and engages our youth in that process. Of course, if you're a visitor, lunch is on us. During January, our learning and worship theme is Finding Your Center. Our topic this morning is the human spirit. As always, we center ourselves for worship with the lighting of our chalice.
Each Sunday, we light the chalice of our religious heritage. We do this for our ancestors, who taught us through their various religious traditions and by their actions for justice and hope. We do this for our children, who are learning the traditions we teach and who learn more from our actions than from our words. We do this for ourselves, so that we are inspired to remember our beginnings, reflect on who we are now, and spread our wings as we understand who we seek to become. Please rise. Oh, I'm sorry.
We have opening words from the poet Rumi, Jalal al-Din Muhammad Rumi, who lived from 1207 to 1273 and has wisdom for us today. Do not be satisfied with stories, how things have gone for others. Unfold your own myth. Start walking, your legs will get heavy and tired. Then comes a moment of feeling the wings you have grown lifting.
Please rise in body or spirit for our words of affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need. This do we affirm and covenant with each other. Now please put on your mask and join in singing the song of affirmation.
Please be seated.
Every human being, at one time or another, needs respite, especially when things are not going well. We need a moment to take stock, a moment where there's a break from what's wrong and evidence of something good in the world. For families today who are struggling with January cold and the rain that often pours down from the winter's gray skies, all too often there's a decision to be made about whether to heat or eat. Today, we're taking a collection for the Long Island Council of Churches Food Pantry, which has steadfastly accompanied Long Islanders who have fallen on hard times, staying open even in the worst days of the COVID pandemic, helping families nurture themselves with food and with the awareness that other people care. Donate through our website or PayPal, or if you're on site, drop a check or cash into one of the donation boxes in the lobby. Be human. Help lift the spirits of human beings who are struggling. Your generosity of spirit can give families in need a respite from their difficult circumstances.
And now it's a pleasure to invite Stephen Michael Smith, our music director, to come on up and help us learn how to sing Meditation on Breathing, hymn number 1009 in the Teal hymnal. Come on up, Stephen.
I may do it from here if you can all hear me comfortably. Great. I think we can do this without the hymnal, but let's look at the hymnal just to learn it. It's very simple, straightforward, and we're going to divide it into two sections, right down the center. All right? So one side we're going to learn one part, and we're on the side we're going to learn the second part. If you're looking at the
Amen. How beautiful is the community we create when we sing together. Now let's pause for a moment to center ourselves, to breathe, to remember the people who loved and supported us at crucial times in our lives. Let us enter for a moment into silence, breathing deeply and slowly as we open our awareness to gratitude for the ties of love and affection in our life. And in this time, may those who feel lonely or sorrowful find comfort in the presence of this gathered community. Breathe. May the strength and love of this community empower each of us to extend support and love to others, so that we weave a network of connections centered in love. And now let's sing again. Let's rise in body or spirit to celebrate our human heritage, community, and future by singing hymn number 1051, We Are.
nothing. Bring only your determination to serve and your willingness to be free. Do not hesitate to leave your old ways behind. Fear, silence, submission. Go into the wilderness to make a new day. Sing songs as you go and hold close together.
Wow. This is why we join together in community every Sunday, because of the way that spoken word and music combine to let us feel the inner spirit. Let us be aware that we are not alone. When I was about 12 years old, I was walking home from school one day. It was a beautiful day, sunny and warm with a breeze wafting around me. My path took me through a grove of tall trees. I looked up at the sun that was streaming down through the branches, their graceful arches framing the blue sky. It was beautiful. It was awesome. Awesome. I thought to myself, oh, I wish I had a camera, but I didn't. So then I thought, I must never forget this moment. And I have not. These moments of awe and amazement come to all of us. Sometimes they simply stop us in our tracks. I've come to understand that moments like these we can capture in the mind and heart. And the more we can do that, the closer we come to being able to string these moments together on a lifelong journey of beauty and wonder. The human spirit. Over the years of my life's journey, I've met so many people who stun me with their resilience, their ability to persist through difficult times, their capacity to notice life's beautiful moments. And there's that Buddhist tale about a man being chased by a tiger. He comes to the edge of a cliff. He wasn't able to keep from sliding off, but he was able to catch hold of a narrow ledge far enough below the cliff edge that the tiger couldn't reach him. But when he looked down, he saw 4 tigers waiting at the base of the cliff. He looked to one side and then to the other. And he saw a wild strawberry plant with one red, ripe, perfect strawberry. He let go with one hand, plucked the strawberry, and ate it. Ah, it is so sweet, he said. And because this is a Buddhist story, that's how it ends. Every human being goes through difficult times. Yes. No life is without its challenges and sorrows. And if we are attentive, even in the midst of those difficult times, we can discover moments of beauty that lift the spirit, that give us hope, that help us find meaning and purpose in life. I've been fortunate to here at Shelter Rock to have been able to lead a weekly reflection group called Wednesday Conversations. It started as a Zoom group during the pandemic, the first lockdown in 2020, and continues today, so almost 3 years. Anyone can drop in. There's no homework. Each week there's a reading and 2 questions for reflection. We listen to each person's response, no interruptions. We honor each person's autonomy and development by following the rule offered by the Quaker author and teacher Parker Palmer. And I love this rule. No fixing, no saving, no advising, no setting straight. Each person is heard, and each person has the opportunity to hear their own inner teacher rise from within without instruction from anyone else. The first question usually is a request for a personal story that bubbles up in response to the reading. And the second is usually an invitation to place that story within the larger story of the person's life journey. None of the responses to these questions can be shared by anyone in the group, including me, without permission. And I will, during this next few minutes, share a few of those stories, and I do have permission to share them. But first, let's take a moment for the framework for development of the human spirit. It's from a 2020 study that's been published in the National Library of Medicine database, and it's called The Decoding of the Human Spirit. I guess it had to have a title like that sounds very scientific in order to get into that database. But it is actually based on a lot of studies. It gathers a lot of information on human development and what it takes for human beings to thrive. The key ability that human beings have that's lifted up in this study is called wholeness. Now, we don't necessarily any given day feel like we are whole, so it means it's always going to be a challenge in our life. But by wholeness, the authors say, we mean the capacity to approach life with breadth and depth. That's one quality. And breadth is the recognizing of the self as an individual who is in community, because the relationships we have with others are really important. And to recognize ourselves as a person with a past, present, and future, who is a container of both good and bad, who knows, experiences, acts, and relates to others. And the depth part is being able to see beyond ordinary material existence and address matters of what theologian Paul Tillich called ultimate concern, what brings meaning and purpose to life. And that's exactly what we do here every Sunday morning, and one Friday evening a week during Soulful Sundown. We think about what is of ultimate concern. The second quality of wholeness is to have the inner resources to hold a life-affirming view of oneself and of the world. It's challenging in these days, I think, especially in the world part, but it means to be filled with hope and compassion towards oneself, other people, the world, the sacred, and life itself, to be able to seek and give support to others. So, two qualities. The third is the ability to understand the life journey as a cohesive whole. That's another thing we work on here in this Unitarian Universalist community, typically in smaller groups, small group ministry groups, reflection groups, religious exploration classes, to see life as a journey with lifelong learning as one of the things to which we commit, the willingness to reflect on the past, present, and future, and the desire to integrate thoughts, values, emotions, actions, and relationships into our worldview. That's wholeness, all those qualities. And for optimal human development, the central spiritual task is to move from a divided self where we come at all these things piecemeal and don't link them together, to a unified self, able to see and accept both the shadow side of ourselves and others, and also to see and lift up the goodness of the self. Some people have trouble acknowledging that shadow side, and others have actually more trouble acknowledging the good. To integrate these very different ideas about oneself into an understanding of the whole self is being on a journey of growth and lifelong learning. So when something happens, it's not happening in isolation. It's part of our whole story, our whole individual history, present and future. And what's really interesting about this scientific work is that it's essential to cultivate the ability to live with paradoxes, with limitations and complexities, to develop an authentic guiding vision, and to make a practice of creating space for discernment and balance. Now, this idea of living with paradox, I think one of the most amazing things about Unitarian Universalism is that we welcome people who share the values that are expressed in our 7 principles and in our covenants, and we understand that each one of them may have a different theological view, a different understanding of the universe, different priorities and different ways of thinking. And the idea is that we welcome everyone, we try to learn from each other. These, what may seem like contradictions and paradoxes, there isn't one theology, one set of doctrine that is offered here that people must accept. Instead, we each bring what we bring. And the challenge and difficulty is to welcome, seek to understand, be curious about how others are different. And in that process, we contribute to our own learning and our own lifelong journey. But to achieve wholeness, which isn't something that, you can buy at the store, there are some specific character traits that it's important to cultivate. The ability to live with those paradoxes, limitations, and complexities. The ability to develop that authentic guiding vision, and the ability to create a practice of making space for discernment and balance. My 12-year-old self's moment of awe, looking up at the trees, has influenced me all my life, and now I can understand and see that ability to pause, to stop in my tracks, to pause for beauty is essential to wholeness. In the Wednesday conversation group, one person was in a city's downtown area with skyscrapers and cement and not a blade of grass or a tree or a flower anywhere. And they were working more slowly than usual, thinking about their dad and wondering if it was best to remain in place in the city in a job that seemed to produce only unhappiness but was financially secure, or whether to change their life and give up that known reality for the unknown. Their dad had recently died. So part of this reflection while walking through a city was about, what would Dad have told me to do? What would Dad have said to me now? And in that moment, in that sterile urban environment, a hummingbird came along and stopped and hovered right before their face. Naturally, the walking stopped, and this person experienced a moment of awe. It was a moment of amazement that banished the worries and focused attention on life's beauty and life's possibilities. And they did decide to change jobs. Another group member shared this moment, and I'll give it to you in their words. I was starting to ski down a North Face trail when ice upon an evergreen, refracting prisms and sparkles of light against a cerulean sky stopped me to take in the crisp air scent, the nature-painted beauty, and gratitude for the moment. Reflecting back on the feeling, it was a sense of presence, nature connectedness, feeling a lucky, calm excitement to have nature snap my attention this way. In future such moments, I hope to be more grateful, inspired, and to inhale the awe into an acknowledgement, to let it etch onto my heart like that day, to remember and linger a little longer. You all have your own moments and stories. I want to share one more. And this is a story about awe, yes, and beauty, yes, but the backstory is one of courage and resilience. This person was at the time a parent who was leaving an abusive spouse, who took two little children, two little girls, across the country and used all the funds for that travel and for a tent and camping gear. And so, homeless, camping in an entirely new place, different state, with two little children and no money. But thanks to the generosity of others, having a gift card to buy Christmas presents for the two little girls. And the Christmas presents were the longed for Barbie dolls. And as the girls slept, this parent placed the Barbies just outside the tent. And in the morning, the sun rose and shone sparkling on the dew that glimmered on the packages, the ocean murmuring in the background. Light and life and a new start, joy for the little girls and for their parent, and a moment of awe and gratitude. How do we develop wholeness? How do we develop the character traits that lead to wholeness? Because none of these things, it seems to me, are just sort of, I don't really want to say that they aren't innate, but maybe they are innate. I believe they are, but they're not fully developed, especially as we first encounter challenges in life. It takes lifelong learning. And I now understand it takes a commitment to work on developing the strengths of character that lead to wholeness, or a commitment to working on spiritual growth, spiritual deepening. Now, for some people who have a sort of attitude where spirituality is not in their wheelhouse, they don't feel like they want to learn about spirituality, they wouldn't join a group to be engaged in a process of spiritual deepening. The beauty of this observation that's in this study from 2020 is that it's possible to begin with the character traits. It's also possible to begin with deepening spirituality. And in my experience as a minister in facilitating reflection groups for people of all theological stripes, people arrive at the same place. They arrive being able to integrate the shadow side and the good side. They arrive being able to see their lives as a journey where there's been some progress and some setbacks, and where they have some power to influence how they feel and how they respond to the various things that happen. They have the ability as they work either on deepening spirituality or on developing their characters to allow others that sort of grace to be imperfect and to be able to understand when listening and being supportive might be really helpful to the other. And some of these character traits You know, if you read spiritual teachings, you see these, but there are also character traits that are considered positive human character traits that lead to human personal growth. Humility, gratitude, forgiveness, awe, the ability to experience awe, that appreciation of beauty, kindness, compassion, hope, fairness, a sense of fairness, and love. A friend and co-author of mine, Peter, came from a position of being deeply unhappy and having an anger management problem. And he started out working specifically on anger management and gradually discovered that he was reading a lot of materials on spirituality and spiritual deepening. And he came to understand that there are many character traits that lead to spiritual development, and that a commitment to spiritual development means exploring and reflecting on character. So my experience with Peter is that he was able to do this. He focused on the character traits, and he was also at the same time working on developing his spirituality from his particular faith perspective. And the transformation was just amazing. And together we authored a small group ministry curriculum called The Virtues of Peace, meaning inner peace. Every human being has an inner wellspring of power and possibility. It's not usually possible to tap into it fully and all the time, but it's there, and you can find it. And perhaps it's that inner wellspring, looking for it and finding it, that leads to wholeness. And it might begin most easily with reflection on a particular positive character trait. A simple exercise. Choose one character trait that you admire, that you'd like to have more of, that you'd like to deepen and strengthen, and learn more about it through stories and teachings. Day to day, take a moment to think about it and how it might be present or useful in whatever is before you. Find a way to begin remembering your own stories about when you used that trait and what you learned, and how you're experiencing that particular trait today, what place it has in your life. And that helps to begin opening up this broader vision of life as a journey, of life as an integrated whole. And, you know, when you've worked very hard on that one character trait, you can turn to another. There's always more development that we can find, that we can pursue. And an important thing, I believe, is that we don't do this kind of reflection on character and development of the whole self strictly alone. It's important to remember that we are human beings. Our relationships are crucial to our inner well-being, to our human spirit. And so it's really helpful to find people, a community where you can share your stories with others who are willing to share their stories without giving you a lot of unsolicited advice. And of course, without you giving them unsolicited advice. And really that's what we do in Unitarian Universalist religious community. We're companions to each other on life's journey. No one of you is alone. You are held, valued, respected, and loved. Now let's sing a song about community. Number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Please rise in body or spirit or both. as is comfortable for you, and remember to put on your mask to sing. Please be seated. On site at your home, here in a pew, in Manhasset, New York, on the land of the Matinecock people, in the United States of America, on the earth, our Blue Boat home. Our closing words are from author and children's rights activist L.R. Nost. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you.
Now we extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into all the world.